Kim, you good?
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Woolworth,
Here.
Mr. Blanton,
Here.
Mr. Robinson.
Here. All right, I ask for the acceptance of the minutes for December 30th, 2023, the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Where do you want to? Yeah, okay. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the December 20th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Trustees.
Okay, Mr. Woolworth,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Also, I ask for the acceptance of the minutes for January 3rd, 2024, organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the January 3rd, 2024 organizational meeting of the Board of Trustees.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Woolworth,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Also, we need the motion for the acceptance of the invoices. These two are these the invoices for the month. What are these?
It's just between meeting and meeting,
Okay,
like,
That's it.
it is for January till this meeting.
okay.
So the January 3rd until January 17th, is that how we're doing?
Exactly. Yeah, yes.
I'll make a motion that we accept all invoices as presented by the fiscal officer between January 3rd, 2024, and January 17th.
I will second.
All right, Mr. Woolworth, Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go out of order just a little bit. We're gonna go with the administrator's report.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, my first time with this microphone. Just a quick list of meetings that I attended. We met with Dr. Rolfe at the school district, with Alex Healing, our legal counsel. Mike Taylor and I met with IMS and another vendor looking at someone who can help us with the parking lot lights software. Unfortunately, that vendor immediately said no, and Mike, I think, had another meeting yesterday with someone. Hopefully that would work out better. But we are working on that issue, if you're aware of it, and getting the lights back on automatic here. Ronnie Miller was good enough to drive me around and look at some spots for alternative spots that we might be able to put that bulk water fill station, just to keep our options open. I met with Mark Rosenberger with Bear Becker regarding a site plan for the bulk water fill station. I'll talk more about that later and other current projects we have going on. Had a couple meetings on the phone with the Franklin Miller local rep at BL Anderson about the fill station. Met with Cleveland Waterworks about water lines in the fill station. And then there was a second meeting we held with Mayor Burkholz and Administrator Rahal from Cleveland. That Dan Blanton initiated that meeting to talk about options of the water lines and the bulk fill station. Had a couple of conversations with the Ohio EPA on both water lines and bulk water. And then a meeting with the Hamilton County Engineer's Office regarding the roundabout that Mr. Oakson initiated. Trustee Volrath and I met with Assistant Chief Street and the three captains, Captain Kane, Bonner, and Yonko at the fire department. Mr. Volrath had requested that meeting. That went really well. He was well received there, and I think they're all looking forward to working with us, especially Tim, as he's getting on board. Let's see, I met with with all the applicants for the lieutenant's position. I know the trustee knows them. Let me try that again. The trustees know this, but we have 5 open lieutenant positions, and I'm recommending tonight that we fill 2 of those 5. That will give us a captain and lieutenant on each each of the PB crews. So we met with them, told them what my recommendation was gonna be, and, that went really well with them. I think they appreciate, the personal, talk with them each. I'm gonna butcher this next name, the engineer from Geotechnology, Sergio, I'm not even gonna try the last name. Had a phone meeting with him regarding the Whispering Woods property, and I'll tell him that a little later too. Other than meetings, we had an all-staff luncheon to kick off 2024. I think that went really well. It was well attended, and I think everybody is excited about what's going to come up and happen here in 2024 here in the township. So I also was in contact with Cincinnati Water Works regarding an issue on Pickaway. There's water just kind of surfacing out in the curve there. Cincinnati Water Works came out, tested the water that they got out of the ground and out of the curve there. They said it didn't have enough fluoride or chlorine in it that would lead them to believe that it's theirs right now. But depending on how far it's traveled, that could be it. We're just gonna have to wait until we either figure out it's not theirs, the leak gets bigger, or we find out what it is. So we're going to continue to work on that. And the gentleman at Cincinnati Water Works was very good to work with on that. Let's see, Mr. Robinson and I discussed possible dates for the ambassadors meeting, and we're going to try to put that together for sometime in February. Project updates. I'm going to be conducting interviews with the fire chief candidates next Monday and Tuesday, with the goal of whittling it down to between 4 and 6 candidates to move forward. On the bulk water fill station, as you noticed in my meeting list, there was a lot to do with that. Excuse me. Where we're at with that right now, Fairbecker is preparing a proposal on what it would cost to provide site plans and equipment locations for a possible site on the Back Schneider property at the end of the West Park area. We'll need those to obtain our FEMA permits and OEPA permits for that facility. Village of Cleves, after our meeting, is considering allowing us to locate a new fill station at the maintenance shop on East Miami River Road, where the old village fill station was. So we haven't had time for them to get back to us on that, but that's an option as well. I do have the EPA requirements for an air gap device that will be one of their big requirements. And we're moving right along with that. Hopefully we'll have a location and be on the move with that soon. Whispering Farms, I have a request in the Geotechnology to provide a construction inspector to take concrete samples and inspect the rebar and the tying of those rebars to make sure that it's properly installed. And I have a draft request for proposal that once we figure out who's going to do what with that, as far as their inspector, I'll have that request for proposals advertised, and we'll be moving forward with that. Mr. Robinson initiated that meeting about the Shady Lane roundabout, and that was not as productive as we had hoped, but they did agree to look for some alternate funding sources through the OPI group. And I'm going to do some research on some other things as well, and hopefully we can keep that project alive. They weren't as enthusiastic as I was hoping. I think Mike would agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know if I should address it now or wait.
Either one.
So Mr. Recker is, sorry, right in front of me. I spoke to him, I talked to him on a regular basis as we do this project, or work on this project, but yes, we received, essentially they gave an explanation that why it didn't score as well as we hoped it would have on the reapplication for the OPW grant, and said that, this is sad to say, but we haven't had enough accidents there.
Oh, one, all of them.
We haven't had enough accidents there. So, their number one criteria is safety and, the fact that, yes, there have been accidents, but it's not a tremendous amount of accidents. And obviously we want no accidents and everybody safe and don't want to hear of any. But when it comes to funding and how they, plug it into the formula and figure out, how they're going to fund certain projects or not. Again, that's what they look at the top. So, it was very discouraging to hear that. They frankly didn't have, weren't very optimistic as far as if we reapply again, or if we just keep coming back to the state. But as Mr. Brett said, everyone is committed to looking at, funding through OKI, federal grants, other sources, circling back with ODOT itself and not OPWC. Right now, the county is saying that they're stuck on that 700,000. So if you recall, we had matched the 700,000. They're now saying that the total cost would be somewhere in that 4.5, maybe moving towards $5 million. So if we were to move on it today, it would cost us about $4 million. So I think it was 15 months ago, 18 months ago or so, we were at 300,000 for our commitment. Then they reevaluated the costs and we negotiated to come up to 700,000. And if we have nothing from the state, nothing from anyone else, and we have to put the rest of the bill, again, we're looking at about $4 million for 300,000. Now, in my conversations with Mr. Rector and others, I absolutely agree that, there's concerns there. People do buzz through that intersection quite fast. There have been some wrecks. I've seen them myself, and he sent me a picture of some individuals that utilize electric motorized scooters and things that go back and forth from Jandar and do their shopping in the strip mall there. And it is a safety concern from our perspective. Unfortunately, convincing the state, the OPWC is a different story. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer it, but Mr. Brett and I had a lengthy meeting with county engineer, and we just kept coming back, asking more and more questions, trying to figure out some path forward on this project. We did bring up the idea of turn lanes, and frankly, they said we'd be starting from scratch. We'd have to re-engineer that whole thing. We'd have to, all the costs that would be, covered through that. We did talk about just trying to look at sidewalks, and we talked about how much money we already have invested in it, checking back on that. So there's a lot of, we asked, there was no stone unturned in that conversation, at least from my perspective. I don't know if you feel the same way.
But I felt like we exhausted everything and,
Yeah. But we're all committed to everyone continuing to search for those other funding sources.
Mike, how much money you put in?
I don't know. I asked them that, and they said, so they paid all the bills. We paid zero.
So they
The idea
continue
would-
we need to move poles.
Right.
and-
So the idea has always been that, again, once the project was approved, which was the assumption that it was going to happen, that we were in for 20%, they were in for 30%, the state would be in for 50%. So we haven't paid a dime, as far as I know, at least as far as what they told me. So it would be, we're kind of in this holding pattern. We're still working on it. We're exploring things. I think that they might just kind of keep waiting, because it would be a matter of them coming to us and saying, okay, your portion would be X, Y, Z. But that hasn't happened, and we're still.
We have money in it. We have, who's the architect for the somebody never hired.
Spring instead of here.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But when I say we, the township has it. So the county engineer has paid those bills.
Oh, they better.
And the idea was that once the project was approved, And, you take the past expenditures and future expenditures and say, all right, this is what your percentage portion would be. We've never gotten that point because they dropped the bomb on us and said, your cost is triple. With the investment. So we haven't, no township funds have been spent on it as of yet. At least that's what the challenge was. But
Just a lot of time.
yes, a lot of time, 8.5 years.
That's all.
But
Mr. Baxter.
yeah,
8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Brett.
So, the other thing that was discussed in that meeting, we kind of touched on, the intersection of Bridgetown and Dog Trot and the site distance there. And, this was kind of interesting because after we talked about it there, Mr. Volrath called me the next day and he said, hey, has anybody ever talked about this? I said, well, yeah. And they said they would help us with that as well. But that's going to be in the beginning stages, but I agree. I come out that way every day. And, the site distance is bad. The little flashing light I don't always feel comfortable that the guy behind me is paying attention to that. So you kind of sit there, look in your rearview mirror and hold your steering wheel.
And
So-
mine.
Outside and Bridgetown is another one. So we are going to be working with them on all that. So, next on my list was we talked briefly about doing something with our website and maybe going to a new provider. The company that we had our meeting with will be at the Ohio Township Association Conference. I'd encourage you guys to all stop by their booth. And I think she's going to do a presentation there as well. If it happens to fall into the class schedules that you're there. I have not been in her class. The administrator at Whitewater has. That's how we ended up with them over there. And we're very pleased with them. So we'll be working a lot, stop by the booth and talk with her. The other big thing that we're kind of working on is the sheriff's contract, and there's nothing new to report there. Although Mr. Bland has asked that we get together with all three of the trustees and the three mayors from the villages and sit down and just see where everybody is on that. So I'm going to be scheduling that. So I'll be looking to you guys for availability for that. And I'd like to end with some good news. I sent this out to the board on Friday. The TIP renewal has been reviewed and it's complete. And I'm told we should expect the same funding that we've had in the past in the future. So that was something that Mr. Bland was working on with me since I got here. We have pestered the poor guy to death that did the initial review and it got sent up to his boss. And I actually was calling someone else and called him by mistake. He's like, oh, I'm glad you called.
That's right.
I was with Cindy and was looking for someone else. And he's like, glad you called because I was going to call you and tell you it's done. You're good. So.
And when did he say receive confirmation?
I got an email with, I think I probably forwarded that to everyone.
I didn't see it.
There was an attachment to the email. If not, I'll send it. And I did send it down to the young lady at the
Only
county.
we got it.
Yeah.
That's
So-
important.
Yeah, he said we would receive a hard copy soon.
Okay, wonderful.
So, that's all I have. Unless you have any questions for me.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public, Mr. Brett?
Just, you said they're gonna extend it. Did they give you for how many years they're gonna extend it?
That's 15.
I think it's 15 years.
Another 15?
Yeah.
Yeah,
went from 2024.
2039.
For the fire chief, you interviewing all 17?
No, I think I've narrowed it down to, I'm probably going to do a phone interview with 10, maybe 12, but 10 at least.
Have the candidates been already notified that the interviews will be on Monday and Tuesday?
They have not. I'll be notifying them tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take like an hour-long period and ask three of them to be available sometime in that hour for a phone call. And I'll just break it out so that over 4 hours or however many hours it takes. Because I don't want to rush them, but I don't want to spend more than maybe 15 or 20 minutes with each one.
Okay.
You mentioned good news, what specifically is being reviewed or how much money we're talking about?
For the 10th,
Yes.
It's not really, I mean, it's renew, but we bring it in and, we get probably 4 million a year, but then half of it goes back to the schools. Yeah, we've already hit 15 years. It's out of new property. Basically, it lowers the other funds, but then we can only use that money to pay for equipment, fire vehicles. So, yeah, those major equipment. So it's been a big help, especially the fire department.
So 4 million a year, how many years?
15 more years.
Okay. And half of that goes.
4 and 5 million,
Half of that goes to
the schools, yeah. And that's Three Rivers and Great Oaks. There's a percentage that they each get.
Thank you.
All right, sheriff's report.
Good evening, I'm Delroy with the Sheriff's Department. So the report for December of 2023. During that month, officers were dispatched or responded on runs, 242 runs. 193 of those were actually dispatched. 49 of those were self-initiated traffic stops investigations. As far as service exchange, there's 95 times the Miami Township cards that were collected outside of Miami Township. Some of the top 2 of those, they completed that run. 23 were disregarded en route. In exchange, 78 county cards were requested into Miami Township. 44 of those completed that route. 34 of those were disregarded en route. Officers took 10 criminal reports and 9 non-criminal reports. And during that month. Any questions about any of those? That's whatnot, or any other questions?
I'm always full of questions, not trying to beat that horse. I think you answered it before. Sure. But when, I'm all pro with the Miami Township card and everything like that, we spelled that before. But when you say that another car, like the William car has been requested in, is that on the initial dispatch or is that our Victor car saying, hey, I need an extra car coming with me?
Could be even.
Just one. Yeah.
Although the officer of my township officer requested an amendment, it's probably needed. I just think there's a reason for that.
Right.
The officer requested.
Exactly. I listened to Scanner all day long, driving.
Sure. But often, like, let's say one officer, a Miami Township officer is occupied somewhere, like, Sturman's at the library, and another officer gets dispatched to, intrude on somewhere. Well, that's always 2 officers, one sort of like some Wayne car, the Miami Township car gets there first, clears it before the county car gets.
That's all. I appreciate it.
Anything else?
Any other questions for the lieutenant? Any questions? Hang on.
Oh.
I'll just make a couple of comments, not bad. I'll just say visibility in bar cards, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I just don't see it. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm doing a job. I'll say that to you. But every evening, I'm either up here in the plaza, or down at Three Rivers, or down at West Park, or down at Skyline, and it's just and maybe it's just timing. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there to you. Patrolling, I don't see them. I don't see them. Now, that's not saying that I'm doing a job.
I can tell you that, as I told you, I came up myself to the similar ones you requested, so that, in case somebody said that, I still never saw them on, like, at least I was there 10 times during a month. And I can tell you, I saw ran into my own officers, either out their spots or along the way or driving past me on Bridgetown. I don't have a good answer for that. It is a lot of it's timing, a lot of it is.
But and I will say this too, as far as, when I say this, I'm not asking them to give out tickets, but I'm asking them to like run a radar and list them. Sure. And we talked about this earlier in the summer when they repaved that, people fly in. And
Yeah, we put out the radar for it.
I think I've seen them. I think I don't think I've seen one car that, now that's, I'm not local. So I'm not saying they're not doing the job.
Sure.
I'm just saying, but in the evenings and stuff, when Lumber's down there, and I don't see them, I don't see the cruiser, but I don't see any stops. So I'm not saying they're not doing it, I'm just saying we'd like to see them, maybe more visible, at least for me.
Increase individual visibility.
Trustee Rose, he feels about it, Trustee Borat, but, just more visibility, I think. So we're 24 hours, 7 day a week in the township. And I just, you know, and I get, we got to complain on Mitchell Park and other people's meetings about seeing our car and the baby. So that's all I have. Not down in the mall, just bring it to your attention. We're glad you're here. Right now.
Glad to be here.
Okay, thank you. You got anything else? All right, thank you.
I agree, I mean, it's all, visibility is good. I've seen them a fair amount, but you guys just hang out in the spots. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you always want to see them out and about as much as possible.
I think it's just a matter of timing. Well, I mean, just getting off topic, but let's say I go back to the new condos, I'd go back in there and sit for a while because that's one of the places that if I'm sitting there, I'm also sitting right there. Anybody driving up Bridgetown Road, that you're looking for, you're not seeing, you know, it's just, don't worry.
We get inquiries, fights about neighborhoods.
And then you want to see it in the main. Yeah. But we're gonna, see, I don't know, just more visible, I'll try to get them out there. Okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we'll move along. We're getting ready to go to our department heads. Anyone from the public want to come up? If you want to come up, but state your name and your address and then address the board, you're welcome to come up right now. Anybody else? When you go through, I'll wait.
My name is Dick Rector. My brother Don and I and our wives have owned the Shady Lane Plaza for 40 years. We bought it in '83, doubled the size of it in 1990, and then built the two-story building where my office is in '99. What we've seen over the last 40 years has been exponential growth in the township. We're probably all well aware of that. When Paul Beck first approached me about putting this roundabout, I was interested because of the traffic situation and what it's done. For better or worse, this part of the township has seen explosive growth. Tonight, when you leave, you'll be able to go over there. There's not a parking space available. We have 182 marked stalls, 5 more than the county requires. And on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we need over 200. We work with the county and the township. The one thing when the roundabout was first proposed, I said, that sounds great, gentlemen. The people I was talking to from the county, I said, I don't want to make money on this deal. I don't want to lose money on this deal. What I want is more parking. The county requires us to have 25% minimum green space, which we have. It's 74.99. The civil engineer that designed the buildings for us made sure that we met all the county requirements and currently do. The issue I see, I sent earlier today to Mike Robinson. I've met 2 gentlemen who use their motorized wheelchairs, I'll call them, not scooters, and I want to misrepresent that. They come from the Gender Acres Nursing Home. They come up here when the weather's nice every day of the week. I've talked to them. I'm amazed that they're willing to drive on Bridgetown Road without any sidewalks, and it's just a matter of time before one of them gets hit and killed. So I don't want that to be on my conscience. I've done everything I can to make this project happen. And to not have a roundabout in there, which the civil engineer explained in the meeting in December of 21 is 38% more efficient getting traffic through that intersection. That's what we need. We also need sidewalks from Gander Acres all the way up and into this area. These gentlemen, people are walking all the time, they're riding bikes. It's very dangerous, as you know. You just mentioned how dangerous it is and how fast cars drive on Bridgetown Road now that it's been repaved. So I don't know anywhere else in the township that is as busy as this intersection. I'm sure there are US 50, yes, on those certain areas where the major intersections, of course. The last traffic count I was told in 2020, 4 years ago now, 20,000 cars per day go through this intersection. So if you do the math, when I cut the grass out here at 8, I can count with 2 hands the number of cars per hour that went through that intersection. Now it's double that or triple that every minute. So rush hour, it's out much worse, not in the middle of the night, of course. So I just want to present to the trustees, the situation. I have replaced landscaping that people have driven over, not because they don't care and they're just giving us a lawn job. They're going around cars because they're tired of waiting because traffic is backed up at those lights. So we've got ruts in all the Greenbelt areas from cars that are going around because they're tired of waiting. So it's a safety issue, which is my top priority. I don't want to see anybody killed. A friend of mine had his son killed at this intersection about 50 years ago. I've seen way too many accidents. Those don't get reported, the fatalities get reported. The telephone pole right in front of my office building was literally severed and split in two by a driver. Yeah, you saw that, Nathan. Those are the kind of accidents you're going to see. And I hate to wait until somebody is killed before the state and the county and the township do something. So I'm just pleading their case. With the civil engineer that drew up the plans for the roundabout, they were allowing us to get rid of some of that greenbelt space where we're going to replace all the landscaping at our homes, and we're going to add 14 more parking spaces. That's not the answer, but it helps. Tenants and patrons of the Shady Lane Plaza, they're parking down Foxtrot, they're parking over here in this parking lot, they're parking where the old Domino's restaurant was. They're parking in the fire lane. The fire department used to text me continuously saying, come out and have people leave their cars. It's gotten to the point where I have to call a record and have it towed. It's very frustrating, and we need to expand it. We need to make it safer. So, do you have any questions for me? We're not going anywhere. We've owned the building for 40 years, and our kids are going to manage it when we're gone. Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thank you for your patience and your willingness to partner with us. We can work together on this, both, just through the whole process. Again, I haven't been involved in it in a short time here, especially after 2 years, but your approach has been fantastic. And I can tell that you want the strip to do well, but you want the community and the whole area. So,
this particular area within a half mile or a quarter mile radius is where the retail is going to be growing. And you need to have that infrastructure there to make it happen safely.
We agree with you.
Okay.
We agree, at least I agree with you. I think Mike does, and we speak for him, but it's, you see what we're working on.
Yeah.
With the state.
We need to convince the county and the state that
So
it's probably going to happen.
the whole bill for the project.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'd love to know why the costs went from 1.7 9 years ago to 4.5 last August. But everything's gotten more expensive, as you're aware. So if it had been done, back in 2015, I wouldn't be saying here right now. We'd have a nice roundabout and it would have cost 1.7.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
My name is Jason Hughes, 2770 Gallia. Gonna walk down memory lane here for a little bit. 3 years ago, I was asked to put a quote in for the outside of the building. It's down the trail. We're not doing anything, haven't done anything with it. Me and you got an argument. I came back after that and said, what process was gonna be put in place for people to bid on work in Miami Township. And was told by you all, well, we're gonna work on it, we're gonna get something put in place. Here we are 3 years down the road. 3 weeks ago, I've been holding off because we've had good celebrations here with Tim and Jack and everything, they didn't want to cause any problems. I'm the only person that bid on these fire hydrants. I was called by the board president and maintenance to bid on the hydrants. I'm the only one that bid. And what happens? You kick it down the curb. You've called 3 or 4 people to get extra bids. Same time that bid was due. And you said, hey, don't we have another one? We'll wait till next month. But now we're 4 bids in on this. Why is it every time that I bid work in Miami Township, it goes out, it just gets pushed aside? Yet you guys go ahead and approve everything. How did this fish window get approved? Well, how are these people finding out about work in Miami Township? If there's work to be done, are you calling the contractors? I don't understand. It's not just me. There's people within Miami Township and surrounding that would love to bid on work. And I told you 3 years ago, I'm not gonna get every job. I know that. I'm gonna be high, I'm gonna be low, and sometimes I'm gonna be right in the middle. But you guys aren't even giving me the opportunity. But you're giving every other Tom, Dick, and Harry the opportunity to bid on things. You call them, hey, this, that. I met with him. He asked me to revise my quote because you all were gonna do the paint. I revised my quote, sent it to him before your meeting in December, and haven't heard a word. You know, and you know why I'm pissed. You know, me and you have had a conversation about this. It's not, I just don't understand, and I can't get any answers from any of them. It's always, oh, it's just Jason complaining, it's just Jason this and that. No, it's my livelihood too, you know? I thought you guys dug into my insurance to make sure that, oh, Jason's got insurance. You dug in to make sure that I had an LLC. No, but this is all stuff that, have you done this to any other contractor that's tried to do work here? Have you just dug into the background? Well, we know Jason just got his LLC for this. Oh, he was working for somebody else. Where's all this coming from? I don't know anything about it. It's crazy to me. I don't understand, and I can't get any answers.
The last time we discussed fire hydrants, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that we instructed you because we didn't have distinctive type bid, correct?
That's correct.
And we instructed you to send out, contact those 4 companies, give them bids, give them itemized list, and get response proposals back, correct?
That's correct.
So my question would be, did you contact 4 companies? If you did, I wasn't one of those 4 companies that got the new scope of work. So we were supposed to, I did.
If you can just give me a second. Obviously, if you could tell from my report, the plate's been full. The fire hydrant painting is a project that will be done in the spring and summer. So we have not redone that specification. No one's been asked and you've not been eliminated.
How can you put something out for bid? You weren't even here. Something was put out for bid and asked for a quote to be turned in. If I'm the only one that turned it in, and then all of a sudden you're gonna say, oh, no, we're gonna call 4 other companies. How can that be? There was no scope on it when I bid it. Now all of a sudden, we're gonna change the scope because Jason's the only one, and you can believe that or not, there's people in this room that believe it, that I'm the only one that bid it, and since I'm the only one, we're gonna change the scope. Give me the 250 hydrants that was bid on and go from there, and then you rebid the scope. Don't change the game in the middle of the game. That's what you're doing. You're changing the game to benefit you.
This is all recorded.
If I can just say, when I went back and researched this, I found nothing was said at a meeting that asked for a quotation or bids. So Mr. Reniger told me that he did talk with you about doing it. So
Why would I
that's the only thing I did.
before that Wednesday meeting if it was gonna be a springtime job? Why weren't all these 4 other companies? See, that's what I'm getting at, that you don't understand. you gotta have all these bids, and there's 4 other companies, why are we calling people? There should be a process in place for people to say, hey, there's work in Miami Township, they should be able to bid on it. You shouldn't be calling people, asking them to bid on work that's already been bid on. Nobody here should be doing that. There should be a process in place that says, okay, X, Y, and Z. Karen needs the damn, paint done over here. I talked to Carrie, she was fine with that. I didn't bid that because all the bullcrap that was going on in the fire station. I don't want my name in that. But here's the deal. You call people to bid, to do that work. You should have something in place where we can look online and say, oh, Miami Township wants the hall painted. And have the opportunity for those people to come. You should not be calling whoever you want to call just to get the work done. That's all I got.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Dave.
All right, anybody else in the public? All right, we'll move into our department, we're not doing my department.
If you'd like, I can do the run totals for last month, if they're, down those. The run totals for the fire runs in Miami Township in December were 7, none in Addiston, 4 in Cleves, 2 in North Bend. We had 8 mutual aid requests and 6 of those were canceled while they were en route. EMS was another busy month, actually, was the busiest month of the year. Had 99 runs in Miami Township, 20 in Addiston, 25 in Cleves, 9 in North Bend. And they received mutual aid 3 times and mutual aid was given 14 times. So that's the run totals for the month. Assistant Chief Street complained to be here tonight. He ran into some issues, couldn't be here. So we sent his regrets.
All right, do we want to bring up regarding old new business?
New business, or you can do it now.
No, we can wait till we get to it.
Okay.
All right, we'll move forward. Senior Center, Mrs. Herbert, she is on.
She's on vacation.
She's breathing. She's lucky. Yeah. All right, maintenance department, Mr. Miller.
Everybody's not here. Not sure what your agenda, what the stuff that's new here, Tony, the way we're doing it. Bringing the mowers up and that.
We have those under new business for them to,
We'll make bring anything up.
if you want to
No, I'm
explain
good with it.
anything, we're good.
They know about it.
Yeah.
All right. The only thing with the road contractor to get our roads, and if anybody has a problem with the road, please call the maintenance division and say what we have problems with. We did a lot of slurry seal over the last 3 years. Our roads are covered up with slurry seal. It's hard to tell where the bad spots are. I think we'll have a blow up here soon. I hope not. But hopefully this slurry lasts as long as they keep saying it's gonna last, because it's 5 years. Another thing I need to bring up is a guardrail on Western Farms. I was gonna call county and see how they go about that. The survey. Somebody's requesting the guardrail on Western Farms coming down at them. Where we repaired and what we're getting ready to repair. I'm thinking it's gonna be, we're pretty far out of the right of way to where it starts to break off. So sure, the county does some kind of survey and probably study it. I'm not sure. If anybody's got a number for that, I'll be glad to get a hold of somebody at the county and try to find out what's going on with that.
He just received that email this morning and we'll work together to get that done.
So, it's all really happened. Hopefully it don't snow. And my idea of the sheriff's not being seen, that's a good thing when they're running radar. Just a thought. I drive about as much as the sheriff. Well, that's good. So they are out there. They might let be in the spot you're at, but they might be in the spot you're at. So I have the base.
Any questions for Mr. Miller? All right, thank you, Rob.
One thing I'd like to thank him and his crew, they've been out once already for a snow event. They, got a good start on the first snow, and then, the second snow came while they were already still here, so, they spent an entire weekend day, working over and making our roads safe, so thank you to you and your crew.
What we want to do. So, I'll pass it on. Thanks.
Please do.
Fire safety, Mr. Hughes.
Hello, everyone. Started out, the good month here, we had no accidents, no injuries. That's always good. Nice for me to come up and tell you guys that. Attended the safety council meeting and got an update from BWC on the, major incidents or accidents, I should say, that occurred, in the state of Ohio, and leading cause still is falls. Falls, bladder, slip, trips, and still a leading cause for accidents, and one of the biggest cause to workers' comp fails. So be careful when you're out there. I had to move our safety meeting back, committee meeting back, with vacations, et cetera. Move it back to next month, early next month, so we can, get together and start, planning our safety agenda for 24. Looking forward to that. I, would like to mention the, All Ohio Safety Congress is coming up the end of March. And I'm telling you, I would encourage all of our department heads to go to this Congress, because there's a tremendous amount of safety issues. Turnout gear, PPE that's, out there now that's new. They have a lot of excellent free training seminars that also occur during the 3-day event. I usually go up one day, spend the whole day there, and do it back in the evening. It's simple in that way. But that's one of the things I want to do at our safety meeting, is lay out some of the, trainings that might be beneficial to some of our department heads, and encourage them or anybody else. Jim, that you think should go. It's a great tool. If you look at maintenance department, tool handling, small, cutting grass, safety ways of doing that, making sure the road knows the right of way that you're there, you're mowing grass, those kind of things. It's important. We care about the residents. We also care about our employees. We want our employees safe. So that's coming at the end of March, and it's free. It's a free conference. So I hope everybody, can you get that information, Jim? Oh, yeah.
So you get it to the department heads.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about it again, the safety meeting. Yeah. Kind of roll out some of the idea. I've been doing it. So, a lot of good knowledge. And it's all, block out, tag out, those kind of things. It should be a good trick. It's worth it. That's what I'm working. I do want to thank the board for their kickoff for the new year 2024. It's a nice lunch and thank them for kind of coordinating. Thanks to the board and board. Good lunch. It's good. But one other thing I did want to stress to the public about not smoke detectors or carbon monoxide monitors. Anybody here that has any open flames in their home should have a working carbon monoxide monitor. We just had about 3 weeks ago, we just had a family wiped out. They were running a generator and a mobile home to a tree. If you're not going to know it's there, you're not going to smell it, you're not going to taste it. It's a silent killer. And the monitor will work, you will tell you. That monitor goes off, call 911 and we'll do a check with the residents to make sure there's no issues. I had one, I heat with oil. And I've got a monitor So when the furnace kicks on, there's a monitor right there. They'll give an instant reading, and they'll tell me what they're on. So, you know, they're not expensive. So I encourage everybody, if you don't have a carbon monoxide monitor, you have, even a wood burning fireplace should have a carbon monoxide monitor.
I'll just echo what Jim just said on that. I just bought a new one to replace an old one. Got one that has a battery backup and also plugs in. Got it at Maryland's Hardware and Claims. They're a township business, local business. It was, I think, $23. It was
They're not real.
really inexpensive to be safe in your home.
And if you have any questions, you can call, my office, you can call the fire department. We'd be glad to assist you with that information on where to get them, what type to buy.
That's great. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Hughes? All right.
Yes, like, where's the safety council meeting?
It's in Columbus, Ohio. Yes. So if you want to go out.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
All right, facilities, I'm sorry, Reynolds and Community Center, Ms. Roberts.
Good evening. In the month of December, there were 35 total events. 5 of those happened in Town Hall, 10 of them in the lower level, and 20 of them in the community center. So just shout out to the staff. They worked a lot of hours and we didn't get a single complaint through the month of December. So we have wonderful staff working those events. The percentage of residents that rented in all of 2023 was 85%. And December was the first month since I've been here that we did not have a single wedding. We did anniversaries, staff Christmas parties, 2 celebrations of life, 2 birthdays, and the rest were all family Christmas parties. Families in Miami Township definitely utilize the month of December. In fact, I opened the books on January 8th for 2025. And my phone started ringing at 9 a.m. and it did not stop the entire day. There were actually 2 women lined up at the door at 9 a.m. trying to fight each other for the same date. So luckily, one of them decided to change. It worked out. They all got what they wanted. Extra usage for the space in December. So beyond our rentals, Kiwanis, church, dance, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Please Christmas Walk used Town Hall, 3 Rivers Schools used Town Hall, and then our Giving Tree, wonderful, was here for a couple of days. You're very welcome. So all of those, we were happy to open our doors for all those organizations. Current rentals for 2024 as of today, and I think if you guys have my paper, it says as of the 10th, so I changed it to today. For 2024, currently we have 92 rentals, and for 2025, the books have only been open 9 days. We already have 19 rentals, with 2 more contracts being signed tomorrow. So things are definitely moving along. Exciting things happening. I think they're exciting. The new AV was installed in the community center. So during our staff luncheon, Mr. Brett was able to display pictures on the screen. It was clear, it was wonderful. The new projector is awesome. The painting is being done right now. I think it looks phenomenal. I left the lights on over there. It's just the upper part that's being painted. We had the lower part painted last year, so now it finally all matches. And when the painter came in today, he looked at the hallways and he said, "What is this, like a bowling alley? These walls look terrible," because we just get so much traffic. So he is voluntarily repainting all of the hallways. And then Ronnie and I saw this huge crack by the outside door, where it looks like people were wrestling in there and threw each other against the wall and created this huge crack down the wall. He took it upon himself today to spackle that entire crack, and he's repainting all of it just because he wants it to look nice. He said his family uses the center and he loves it, so he's doing it no extra charge, repainting all of that for us. So thank you to them. Upcoming events in February, I have an open house on Tuesday, the 20th from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Those are hugely popular. We had one last night and 18 people came. AARP Tax Day is February 8th. I don't have my readers on, so I think that's what it says. I think that's an 8, not a 6. February 8th, and you will schedule that through the senior center. They just use our space. And then we are working on an entire list of 2024 events, lots of exciting things from the open houses that I do monthly to 2 sessions of goat yoga, the Easter extravaganza, the 2 concerts. We're scheduling 2 movie nights. And then again, we have the Winter Wonderland. So watch for the newsletter to come out. All of those dates will be listed. But our first session of goat yoga is February 27th. And I just posted it online right at like 4 o'clock and I already have 2 people signed up. So it is so popular. And then just something quick about the weather. During inclement weather, I always check with the clients ahead of time to see if they're going to continue to use the space or if they want to reschedule. So we kind of leave that up to them. But Ronnie and his crew are phenomenal. They always have all of my areas clean. They're always checking when I have events. So thank you. But one thing I did want to bring up, when there is bad weather, we do close the steps to the lower level. So you can only use the ramp to get down. And that's a conversation that I think Ronnie and I would like to have with Mr. Brett, is just all of the water and condensation coming off of the roof onto those steps. They're always icy. So I know that Ronnie has had this conversation in the past, but now with so much activity being at the community center, I think safety wise, we definitely need to relook at that. And just a quick thank you to Ronnie and crew for the wreaths going up in a timely manner, coming down in a timely manner. It always looks nice. They were always making sure that the lights were working, and we're just thankful that they did that. And I think that's it. Any questions?
Any questions from Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Keep your publicity coming my way. I'm happy to promote it for you on the line.
Thank you. We appreciate you doing that. Thank
I
you.
just wanted to say that I appreciate you. We worked really hard this year. I know in years past, we've been trying to put together events still, but basically we have 99% of 2024 already scheduled, mapped out, so you can literally look at the entire calendar. And so, save the dates, put it on a calendar, and get it organized. Working with Mr. Rovers, Mr. Brett, and we've been trying to make that a business.
Yes.
So thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor?
Evening, everyone. Not a lot on the list today. As Jim mentioned earlier, I have Lehman Company coming out on Friday at 9:30. They are one of the 4 vendors that we've talked to, and every own vendor that has a retrofit or any kind of option for us for our existing building automation. So, they're sending out a technician and a salesperson. We're gonna look at what we got, give us some evaluation, so we can see what it'll take to get that system back online. In addition to that, the computer that is running that system, we purchased that in 2019. We've had that I've worked on it. Our contracted IT guys have been out. Was up here for 5 hours on Monday. They worked on the 3rd level engineering. We've had Dell on the phone. There's an issue on that motherboard where it just keeps resetting the BIOS. So it lets you in or it doesn't let you in, and that's what's causing the scheduler not to run the building automation systems for the lights. So everyone included, and I'll let Jim know this, I recommended that we replace that box up front. The problem with that is we can't replace that box because nobody has the full software that's running the automation building in the building. So we don't want to take that offline until we get a new one, where we can transfer and confirm that it will work with the new system. So we're kind of in a little bit of a conundrum right there. Trying to get through that. It's a very serious issue. Kim's been fighting with it every day, whether it lets you log into that PC or not. After a reboot or 2, it seems to be working, but we're right there on the verge of having a crisis for IT for building automation. So this will make everybody aware of that. We're on top of it. Working on it again today. Met with that contractor. He called me, asked me some questions. I sent him some IP information. So hopefully when they come in on Friday morning, we can get an answer from them, but it's something that we'll probably have to act on. This Friday. Yeah, so they're here at 9:30. Between 9:30 to 10. So he'll be here. So they're a local company, and they're the only company that we found out of 4 vendors. Once we told them what we had, don't know, we'll work on that. I mean, they've stopped us when one might get notified and then come out, we'll work on it. This is the only company so far that's said, we'll actually work on it for you, so. Other than that, I think we're in a good spot.
Any questions, Mr. Taylor? All right,
Thanks.
we have no business correction. Gentlemen,
Old
any
business on,
business?
on the revised agenda, I did have one item under old business, which was, to revisit the membership of the Center for Local Government.
Oh, okay.
So, our annual cost on that would be $3,825. They did, go ahead and post our fire chief opening on their website, because Village of Cleves is a member. And, since we've served them, they agreed to go ahead and do that. At least two of the candidates that will be moving forward in the process came through that website, so. So I think that and the ability to compare our insurances and the other information that they have available, I think makes it a worthwhile investment. Cindy has talked with them and she'd like to weigh in on that.
I did some research and, I think would be a big help for all of us. Across the board, and
One of the,
especially just getting there and getting, employees and,
employees, and one of the things that is very helpful is they have an up-to-date salary comparison schedule, so we can see where we fit in with the rest of
look at
the
insurance,
community.
you can look at salaries, all kinds of things.
So,
Okay,
just would like your approval to go on with that, if you're okay with it.
all right. I'll just go ahead and make the motion to approve the 3,825 for the membership.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Borat,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Thank you.
So you want to do your business?
Would you like me to just run down the list?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, typically, we do staff salary adjustments at the organizational meeting. We push that back to this meeting, but we'll probably address that after our executive session. Window cleaning proposals for here at the community center. We pulled that from the agenda last month because we didn't receive any, we only received one. Carrie was able to find a second proposal, and this is why we do this. The second proposal was about half price. So it's not a big amount of money. It's the difference between $740 and $320, but still it's cash. So I'm recommending that we approve that. And I realize that's a little small to bring to the board.
they used to do our windows years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So I think that's something I can approve without a motion, but I just wanted to bring it to you.
So that's fish.
Fish window cleaning? Yeah, okay.
We're gonna do all the windows out there
Yep,
for one price.
yeah.
Excluding the fire.
They're doing the whole building for that price, inside and out.
Is that $320 total, or is their rate $320 now? Because it says at a rate not to exceed 320.
That's total cost.
So
Yeah.
That's how I'm ready to go. So.
Unlike you, I think that's a really cheap price. Terry said that when we got it. I can't believe it's this price, but we need to.
They were all cheap, but still, that's a lot of windows.
So Sloan, if Cindy says we've got an experience with them
Right.
and they've done good work in the past, that's even better.
They used to do the
Thank you
town
for
hall.
the due diligence, Mr. Roberts and Mr. Brett. And so long as that is a total cost, I will make a motion that we approve the bid from Bush.
Second.
All right, Mr. Borat,
Yes.
Mr. Blanton,
Yes.
Mr. Robinson.
Yes.
Next one's a little more than $320. The fire department is in need of replacing a staff car that the assistant chief drives. In talking with them about, because Rob is can only be with us another 2 years. In talking with them about what might work for him and work in the fleet after he's gone. He came up with a proposal that we would buy a four-wheel drive, four-door pickup truck. And, then when he's gone, that's something that could tow the smokehouse, could tow the smaller boats and things. And, would also be a four-door vehicle that they could go to trainings and things in. We received a price on that at state minimum pricing from, I keep wanting to say Andy Chevrolet, but it's Kelsey. $57,010. Mr. Volrath called me today and said, hey, later on, you're gonna see, a request from the maintenance department for, the F-250 pickup at $58,000. And he said, first, why a 150 and not a 250? And second, should we contact Ford and see what their F-250 or 150 is? I thought that made good sense. And, in order not to delay things, if we could approve a price not to exceed that price on the Chevy, I'll get in touch with the fleet manager at Hank Ford, see what he can price up for us. And, as long as it's state minimum pricing and it meets all the requirements they had, then we'll just go with the lesser of the two amounts, but, at least an amount not to exceed the $57,010.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we go ahead and approve up to and try to get both the trucks at $57,010 even. But
This is for both
Just for,
vehicles?
just one.
This is for fire.
I know that's all we're gonna do. It's all good.
I apologize. The fire vehicle or the police vehicle is a police vehicle, I'm sorry. The maintenance vehicle is an F-250 with a snowplow package. So
Correct, but we're gonna, I thought we were gonna reach out to Ford and see if we cannot purchase one.
the price is already for a Ford in the service department.
Correct.
So
So we're gonna reach out and see if they would give us a discount on if we bought two of them.
we'll certainly ask, but they're already at state minimum pricing, so
And I thought we were, but that's one, so.
Yeah.
Approved up to the 58,025.
yeah, it never hurts to ask. So if we're gonna buy two, maybe look,
And then
again, if they knock
look at that for two of them,
Yeah.
then we're still okay.
yeah, if they knock a couple $100, we're all West Side people, we'll take whatever they give us as a discount.
So we'll make a motion that up to 58,125 for one, and we're gonna try to buy them both through the same vendor, correct?
I think we'd probably be cleaner if we did the 150, the 1,500 at, 57,010, not to exceed that. And then do the, 58,125 for the F-250 for the maintenance department.
Okay.
And then not
We're
Ford.
trying to go through the same deal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's do the fire staff car now.
That would just be cleaner to have them separate.
So you're looking for a motion?
Yes.
Do you want me to, or were you start?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we approve the purchase of Chevy 1500 four-wheel drive or door to replace Assistant Chief's vehicle up, not to exceed $57,000. Does that work?
Thank you. We need a second.
Second.
Mr. Volrath?
Yeah.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
So moving on,
But what are we going to, we need to make another motion on the other vehicle.
Let's just go ahead and take care of that now.
okay, we can do that now, yeah. So that's, the proposal for the maintenance department was an F-250 four-wheel drive four-door that will replace an existing
Up
vehicle.
to that amount.
Yeah, up to, $58,125, that's the current quote. So we can have a motion to approve up to that amount.
I'll make a motion to purchase up to that 58,000. Second.
All right, Mr. Volrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Thank you. So we pop back up to the fire department. I think everybody knows that for some time,
hang on just real quick.
Sure.
So since we're going into executive session, we have guests here, which is River School Board, so let's go ahead and go into executive session. We can handle all we have left is the two firefighters, and that's all we have left. And then we have execute contracts for the summer concerts and band. We can do that when we come back down.
Now, the only other purchase we have is, major purchase is 2 mowers for the service department.
Yeah, we can take care of all that. when we
Yeah.
come back
Yeah, those are budget statement of purchasing, so.
down. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll look for a motion from where you need to go in executive session. We meet with River School District, consider the purchase of real property, to consider compensation for public employees and all departments of the township, and to conference with the township's legal counsel concerning pending and pending court action.
Okay. I will make a motion that the board go into executive session for those 3 reasons: to meet with the Three Rivers School District, to consider the purchase of real estate property, to consider the compensation of a public employee in all departments of the township, and to conference with the township legal counsel concerning pending or imminent court action.
Mr. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, thanks, everyone.
And I'll need those names. That's recording.
All right, we're back from executive session. Can we get roll call, please?
Okay, Mr. Walrath? Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here. No, we actually need a vote.
Yeah, you do. I have a motion. I need a motion
Need a motion for what?
To return to regular.
to come back.
I'll make a motion to return to regular session.
Yes, sir.
Well done. I second.
All right, let's do it again. Walrath?
Here.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
All right,
Yeah.
now we can move forward.
Yeah. I get it.
Mr. Brad.
All right, picking up where we left off, we have, 2 lieutenants to promote, and, we can say the next thing about them next time, but, that would be Dan,
And
Hyatt?
Scott Dunnigan,
so,
because we want that, you're gonna do, there'll be a guy that compensation. When you make a motion, I'll make a motion to move Scott Dunnigan and I have to.
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Walrath?
Yeah.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
okay, next on our, agenda, approving 2 John Deere Z96M lead track mowers for the service department.
At 58,125.
No, that's,
Total, or no,
I'm sorry.
It's 42,443.
42,443. I'll make that a motion that we go ahead and purchase.
We'll figure out what we're doing with the ordinance.
We were gonna sell them on,
We're gonna go with the county like we did the last time.
Second.
okay, Mr. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
all right, we did the pickup truck, the all negative invoice approval is the time management systems, system for the fire department, $4,979. That's the annual subscription cost. It's a really good working system, so it's worth the cash.
It's your recommendation.
Yeah.
Make a motion that we go with that. Put that in there.
$79.
Second.
All right, Mr. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes. You want me to?
Yeah, if you want to do this.
This, I mean, Jim, Mr. Brett and I talked about this, but again, we negotiated contracts with the bands. You got the stage, St. Louis Rockers staging. Again, we are consistent with what we've spent in the past. We're also going to explore different sponsorships, and so we have the summer concerts for June the 20th, Thursday, June the 20th, with 9 through 20, and the menus on Friday, August the 2nd. So I would like to make a motion that we authorize the township administrator to finalize and execute the contracts for the supervisors, including both the band and the students. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
No question. Second.
Second,
All right, Mr. Walrath?
yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
So, and we have two part-time firefighter applications that, the fire department is recommending that we approve them as, part-time members of our fire department contingent on their, physical and, background check. That would be Donald Robert Snyder Jr. And he is a would be a part-time firefighter paramedic. The other is Nathan William Bachelor, who is also a firefighter paramedic.
Bachelor? Like bachelor?
I'll make a motion that we bring these two on part-time.
And so this is the, where we say with the, pending for background checks or.
Bring back the check.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would second.
Hold on. All right, Vince, Mike, you seconded.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
That's all we have on the.
No salary schedule.
Oh, yes, sorry, we're gonna go back to the first time.
I told you, I'm not.
Yep. So we have the, exposed salary schedule as presented by the fiscal officer for approval.
For 2024 and to go back to
To retroactive to.
January 1st.
January 1st, 2024, and your recommendation for progress.
Yes.
We discuss in executive session.
I will make a motion that we move forward with that.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Walrath?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Now it's back. That's it.
Motion, somebody want to make a motion for, yes,
I'll make a motion for your,
I will second that.
Hey, Mr. Walrath?
yeah.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes,
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
thank you, Kim.
Welcome.